Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how you can rotate your live camera video recording in Expo React Native application for Android using CameraX and Media 3 effects. So let's get started. So first let me show you guys the output. So here I'll just play the output. So here you can see first it will ask you for camera permission, then the record audio permission, and here is our live camera preview. I have clicked on the start button and here you can see I have rotated the live camera video recording preview. So yeah, this is how you can change it. Now I will show you where you can change the degrees or the angle, so don't worry about that. And then I'll click on the stop button. So the video has been recorded and saved to external storage, so you can go to your files app and see that particular video, so the user can access the video even outside our app. So that's the advantage of it. So here you can see I'm playing the video. So hopefully you got the point. Let's see how to achieve this via code. Get started. So first what you need to do is you need to create an Expo React Native project. For that you can go to this particular URL over here. I'll just open it inside a new tab, and here I have used this blank TypeScript template, but you can use whatever template you want, default, blank, tabs, or bare minimum. The reason I have used this blank TypeScript because it comes with TypeScript support, and second thing is that it has very less boilerplate code. I want to keep things simple, that's why I'm using this. So I have already created a Expo React Native project. If I just show it to you, here you can see this is the entire Expo React Native project. So yeah, you just need to run this particular command. So it will ask you for your app name and all that stuff, and it will create an Expo project for us. Now, once your Expo project is created, you can open it inside your VS Code or whatever IDE you use. Now you won't see this add Android folder as well as this my modules folder. We need to create those folders. So for that, why we need to create it? Because we need to write native code. There is no third-party library available at the time of me recording this video to do this particular feature. That's why we need to write our own code. So to first generate this Android folder, we need to go to this URL. So just to let you guys know, this is just a cheat sheet which I have created, so don't worry too much about this. Then open this in the new tab. Like I said, this is only for Android, so will be ignoring the iOS part. So first select Android device, select development build, and here I'm not using EAS because I will be building my application locally. Then here I have selected macOS, so you need to select your own operating system. And here I have already installed all this, so if you haven't, you will have to run this. So first you'll have to run this, then you'll have to run this, then set the Java home path as well. Then you need to download Android Studio as well. You have to do all this setup. I have already done it, so I'm not going to go through this. So I'll simply scroll through this file. You also need to set this, okay, and you also need to set this. Next you need to cd to your Expo React Native project and then run this command. Don't just run it anywhere, you need to run it inside your Expo React Native project. So cd to your Expo React Native project and run this command. It will install this npm dependency for you. Then you need to run this command. You can ignore this command, this is not necessary. Just run npx expo run android run:android. So this will create the Android folder for you. Then it will also ask you, do you want to run it like it will ask you to select a emulator or a real Android device if you have connected. Don't run it now, no point in running it now because we will be writing native code, so you will have to run it from scratch. Hot reload or hot refresh will not work for you. So yeah, no point in running it now. You can just press Ctrl+C. Okay, so you will see this Android folder. Next we need to create this modules folder. So for that you can just go to this particular URL over here. So I'll just copy this, I'll open it inside a new tab, and all you need to do is just run this particular command. Okay, so once you run this command, it will ask you what should be the module name and all that. I didn't change anything, I just pressed enter. So I think you have to press enter 2 or 3 times. Just press enter and it will create this modules, my module. If you want to name it differently, you can do that as well, but I have kept everything by default. Okay, so I will now close my cheat sheet. So this is what you will get. Okay, now next thing what you need to do is when I showed you guys the demo, I only showed you the live camera preview. Then we were clicking the start stop button, the video was recorded, we went to our video player and played the video. Unfortunately, like I was not able to play the video inside our application itself. So I have tried doing that, but it is not working for me. I don't know why. It works perfectly fine in native Android application. I'll talk more about it as we go along. But yeah, what I did was I installed this another dependency as well, Expo Video, which is used for playing the video. But like I said, I was not able to get around with this. I was not able to play my video. I tried a bunch of stuff because the video is created on the native side. I was sending the URL back to Expo side. I was not able to play the video, unfortunately. I could have played the video using Expo Player. If you don't know what Expo Player, it is a native module for Android. But then again, I have to create a separate native module for Expo Player. Then this tutorial would have gotten very complicated. That's why I didn't go that path. But if you're comfortable using Expo Player, you can do that as well. But I wouldn't recommend it if you don't have knowledge of native modules. Anyways, so you like I said, you don't really need to install this dependency because I'm not really using it. But if you want to really make it work with Expo Video, once the video has been recorded, play that video inside Expo Video Player, then you can maybe install this dependency as well. I'll also show you what I have tried, so that yeah, maybe you can build on what I have already built. Next, you need to go to modules, my module. Okay, you need to go to src. Here you need to go to my module.type.ts. okay, now here this particular thing is, all this thing is present by default. I have not changed anything. Only thing which I have changed is I have commented out this URL. So this basically URL is used as a prop for our custom UI component. So I don't require a URL prop, so I have removed it. And here this onload which you see, so here I have commented it out, right? And this onload is basically an event which is used to send data from native Android side to Expo React Native side. Now onload does not make sense in my case. That's why I have taken it as, named it as on video taken. Rest everything is similar what you see above. Okay, I have just renamed this. So this will help us. It is kind of like an event dispatcher used to send data from native Android side to Expo React Native side. And these styles are present by default. So in case if you want to give any style to your native custom, like the live camera preview, you can use this style as well. The start stop button also will be part of native component. It is not part of this Expo React Native. Okay, so I think that should be it. Let me quickly check. Okay, no, so here I think here also I have not made any changes, just cross verified. Yeah, I think yeah, that's it. Okay, so we can close everything. Let's first see how to use it. So I'll just go to app.tsx, and here you can see these are all the imports which I have added. Here you can see I was previously using Expo Video, but it was not working for me, so I have commented this out. So here I have created one state for video URL. So once you get the video URL from native Android side, I am updating this particular state. Here this one is for our camera permission, because we require camera permission as well. And here I'm just added a check of whether the user is using Android 10 and above, because above Android 10 we don't require the write external storage permission. Why is the write external storage permission required? Because we need to write the video to external storage, right? So that the video user can see the video even outside our app, like I showed you guys in the output. That's why. Then here I have again this is part of Expo Video, but unfortunately I have commented out because I couldn't get it working. Then here we have this request camera and storage permission. So depending on the Android version, I'm asking the appropriate permission. So if above Android 10, then we are just asking camera and record audio permission. Otherwise we are asking camera, record audio, and write external storage permission. And here I'm just checking whether all the required permissions are granted or not. So for Android 10 and above, we check camera granted and record audio granted, then only we set this as true. Honestly, you don't even require this record audio permission as well. Even if this is false, you can proceed ahead with it. We typically only require camera permission, but some people like to record audio as well, given that we are applying this to live video recording. That's why I've kept it as mandatory. And here for below Android 10, I'm asking all these three permission and then only changing the state. Okay, and then I'm calling this method inside use effect block. And here you can see if camera permission is granted, then only we display our my module view. So this will display the live camera view as well as start and stop recording button. Else we just say camera permission not granted. And here you can see once we stop recording, then we get the URL of the video over here, and we just update the state over here. Like I said, I have also made one other thing. If you are curious on how to display the video view from Expo video. So you can use something like this instead of the top thing which I have given, but like I said, I couldn't make this work. The video view is not playing my video and I couldn't really understand why, but I have just commented it out in case if you any of you are interested in how to do things. Okay, and these are the styles which I'm using, so feel free to pause the video and just copy the styles as well. Okay, so that's it on the TypeScript side. Okay, next we need to go to the Android side. So here you need to go to first go to the main Android folder, go to app src main android manifest.xml, and here you can see I have added a few permissions. So firstly, these all permissions were present by default, out of which we require the internet permission. Okay, right external storage permission was present by default. If it is not, make sure you add it, because these things keep on changing with every Expo version, so they might decide to remove it in the future as well. Then these three permissions I have added it explicitly. First one is uses permission of Android hardware camera, then the camera permission, and then the record audio permission. Okay, then you need to go to Android build.gradle, and here need to scroll down, and here you need to add few dependencies as well. So here firstly, camera core, camera 2, camera life cycle, camera view, camera video, then the camera media 3 effect, which is still in alpha at the time of me recording this video. So if it does become stable by the time you guys are watching this video, make sure you use the stable version, otherwise you might get some performance issues as well. So it's very important you use stable version, but at least at the time of me recording it is still in alpha, that's why I'm using alpha version. Then here we have this Android X media 3 effect as well as Android X app compat dependency as well. Okay, so these are all the dependencies. Then you need to go to src. I don't think I have written anything inside Android manifest. Just go to Java Expo modules, my modules, go to my module.kt file. Here I have made few changes. So first I have imported this particular import, and I have added this annotation to our class my module. This is required because my module references my module view, in which we will be writing most of the code, and inside my module view we will be using the media 3 transformer API, like I said, which is still unstable at the time of me recording this video. That's why we have to annotate this class as well with unstable API. Now rest everything remains the same. There is only minor change which I have done, so yeah, feel free to pause the video. So inside this particular view, what I have done is that I have commented this particular thing out. So double forward slash means commenting in Kotlin. So because we are not passing any URL prop to this particular view, so it does not make any sense in our case. So I have commented this out, and here also I have commented this out, because in our case the event dispatcher name is on video taken, which we have written it inside the TypeScript file, right? We are not using on load, so that's all what I have changed over here as well. Then you need to go to my module view.kt. So firstly, if you scroll down here inside this my module view class, you will see some basic boilerplate code written. You just have to delete that code and just keep this particular class. Okay, just keep this one line, that's it, and the curly brace, the ending curly brace as well. Then these are all the imports which I have. I'll simply scroll through these imports. Feel free to pause the video and just copy all these imports which we have over here. Okay, so this is our my module view. So here is our event dispatcher called on video taken. So it should be named similar what you have defined it inside your TypeScript file. Then here we get hold of our activity. This is the frame layout, this is the camera, this is the preview view, here is our video capture, here is our recording as well. Then here we initialize our capture button, here is our viewfinder, the camera preview, live camera preview. Then here is our camera executor service as well. Here is our process camera provider, here is the back facing lens. Then here we set layout params to our frame layout and add it to our parent view. Then here we set layout params to our viewfinder as well. Then here we call this install hierarchy fitter. I'll come back to this in a bit. Then we add viewfinder to our frame layout. Then we set the text background color, text color as well as alpha to our capture button. Then we set frame layouts to our button as well. Then add that button to our frame layout. Then we add a click listener to our capture button as well, in which we call capture video. Then here we override on attached to window, and if we have the camera permission, then we call viewfinder.post setup camera. Then here we detach from window, where we shut down our camera executor as well as unbind our camera provider. Now here we are calling this particular method. So what this method does, this is basically a hack which we need to do. So why we need to do this? So for that you can go to this particular URL. It gives you more in detail why we need to use this. So this is an issue which has been open in React Native's repo since past 8 years. They have still not fixed it. If you don't use this hack, you will see a black screen, you will not see your live camera preview. That's why we need to use this. Okay, then here we call setup camera, where we get hold of our camera provider future. We add a listener to it as well, and here we initialize our camera provider. Then we call bind camera use cases over here as well. Then we call capture video, where we get hold of our video capture. The capture video dot is enabled is false over here. Then we get hold of our recording, and if it is not equal to null, then we stop our recording, we make it as null. Then here is our simple date format as well, where we pass the file name format. Then here we initialize our content value, we pass the display name, MIME type, and if Android version greater than P, we also set the relative path over here. Then here we initialize our media store option. So this over here we pass it to our prepare recording, right? So this will automatically save the file to the external storage, the recorded video. Now what I did was, I also created, instead of using this, okay, I tried creating a file inside our internal storage, and I tried passing, once the recording was complete, I tried passing the like the URL of the file which is stored in internal storage back to React Native side, just to check whether we are able to play the video. Still we are not able to play the video. I don't know why. That's why I defaulted with this particular approach itself, unfortunately. So if you have a better way, do let me know in the comments. So here we start our recording, and here we check whether we have the audio enabled permission as well. So here we have added this suppress length of missing permission, because we are already checking this on the TypeScript side. So that's why the Android code was complaining. That's why I had to add this separate lint of missing permission. We are already checking for the permission on TypeScript file before calling this code, so we don't have to worry about this. Then here we start our main executor, and if we have video record event dot start, then we do capture button dot apply, change the text as well as enabled property. And once it is finalized, that means video has finished recording, we click on the stop. We click on the button, it stops the recording. Then here you can see we are sending the URL of the recorded video, but like I said, I was not able to play the video. I don't know why. This works perfectly fine on native Android. I don't know why it is not working with the Expo video package. It works fine with Expo player. But anyways, if you are not able to know if you don't know what Expo player is, ignore it. I don't want to complicate it too much. If you want a separate video on me integrating Expo player as well with this, do let me know in the comments. Then here we stop our recording, we make it as null as well. Then we do capture button dot apply, change the text as well as is unable to true. Here I just check whether we have the proper camera permissions or not. Okay, and here we have just defined tag and file name format variables. Now coming back to the actual bind camera use case method. Inside this bind camera use cases method, first we get hold of our rotation, then our camera provider, then here is our camera selector, then here we initialize our aspect ratio strategy, here is our resolution selector as well, then we initialize the preview view, then we initialize our recorder, here is our video capture, then we do use case group dot builder, add our preview use case as well as video capture use case, then here we initialize our media 3 effect, then here we pass scale and rotate transformation dot builder, and here you can pass whatever rotation value which you want to set. I have passed it as 45F, so I'm rotating it by 45 degrees. Then here sorry, we add the media 3 effect to our use case group builder, we unbind our camera provider, we bind it to the life cycle, then we assign our camera toward this camera object, and then we set the surface provider as well. So yeah, that's all there is to it to this. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.